Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. In today's session, we will be learning about Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means self-study. It is one of those broad concepts with several meanings. If you remember, in one of the earliest sessions, we had come across Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara Swadhyayan Ma Pramadaha. Speak truth, follow dharma, and never cease from Swadhyaya. So, Swadhyaya becomes an ongoing process through which we refine ourselves. What are the different dimensions of Swadhyaya, self-study? Scriptural study is broadly called Swadhyaya. The recitation of Vedas for the purpose of memorizing and internalizing it is also called Swadhyaya. The process of studying scriptures increases our understanding of various subjects. It brings in new perspectives, strengthens our process of self-discovery. Through the scriptural wealth, we can connect to age-old wisdom and can imbibe from it. धर्मशास्त्रं तु विज्ञेयं शब्दशास्त्रं तथैव च पुराणानीतिहासश्च तथाख्यानानि यानि च महात्मनां च चरितं श्रोतव्यं नित्यमेव च साधूनां पुनराचारो गरीयान् धर्मलक्षणः साधवः क्षीणदोषाः स्युः सच्छब्दः साधुवाचकः तेषाम् आचरणं यत्तु सदाचारस्य उच्यते बुद्धिवृद्धिकराण्याशु धन्यानि च हितानि च नित्यं शास्त्राण्यवेक्षेत निगमांश्चैव वैदिकान्. The study of Dharma Shastra, Vyakarana, Darshana Shastras like Nyaya, Mimamsa, Purana, Itihasa is part of Swadhyaya in the sense of scriptural study. We have covered the various abodes of knowledge in yet another previous session. So, the study of any of those abodes of knowledge becomes Swadhyaya. Along with this, learning about saints and Mahatmas, knowing their charitra, their journeys is also a part of Swadhyaya. Knowing about Mahatmas inspires us. Through their actions and words, we find signposts and solutions to our situations. This way, learning from the lives of saints and sadhus is more impactful too. By studying the lives of great Mahatmas, we do get their guidance, blessing, prudence, and divine inspiration in the subtle form. That is why those on the path of dharma must certainly follow Swadhyaya at the level of scriptural study and look at it as a divine practice that connects us with the eternal knowledge base. Swadhyaya follows the steps of Shravana, receiving the words from a guru as Upadesha, Manana, reflecting upon the words, reading it again and again slowly, and Nididhyasana, which is a constant in-depth cognitive contemplation. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana are bound together. One is incomplete without the others. These kind of practices are there in several ancient cultures but might have lost their roots in the modern world. For example, the idea of lectio divina, Latin word for divine reading, is a traditional practice of scriptural reading, meditation, and prayer intended to promote communion with the divinity and to increase the knowledge of God's words. It involves reading a scripture slowly, carefully, followed by prayer to surrender and seek wisdom hidden in the words. To seek purity, to attain the eligibility to have such wisdom hosted within us. A prayer must be followed by meditation upon a spiritual reality within a text. And that meditation must birth a deeper contemplation which would open the path to the divine, and then comes action. Live the wisdom gained. Yatha yatha hi purusha shastram samadhigacchati तथा तथा विजानाति विज्ञानं चास्य रोचते. When we study the Shastras, we get interested in learning about the Vishesha Jnana in them, the unique and special knowledge residing in them. Just as the interest to know more would increase, the hidden wisdom would also illumine the mind more and more. Slowly, the mystical knowledge would unfold. Kamam krodham bhayam darpam ajnanam chaiva buddhijam tachrutam nudati kshipram yatha vayur balahakan. Just as air scatters the clouds and clears the sky, the wisdom that dawns with scriptural study annihilates the doshas of kama, krodha, bhaya, darpa and ajnana. A man of true knowledge is devoid of desires, anger, fear, false ego and spiritual ignorance. यस्य नास्ति निजा प्रज्ञा केवलं तु बहुश्रुतः न स जानाति शास्त्रार्थं दर्वी सुपरसानिव. Those who study a lot of scriptures but are never truly awakened in the light of the scriptures are like a ladle drowned in a pot of soup. The ladle has fallen into the soup but can never know its taste. With this ironical picture, the shloka brings to notice the purpose of all the scriptures, the purpose of all the scriptural study is self-refinement. Thus, scriptural study is different from reading as a hobby or for entertainment, relaxation, etc. Swadhyaya is a discipline. Swadhyaya should not be mistaken for unguided study of scriptures on our own. Without the guidance of a competent guru, Swadhyaya is not possible. The practice of Swadhyaya is like digesting one bite at a time in the process of eating. It is a slow process involving great amount of patience. It is not about reading more and more books. It is about attuning within to the divine channels that lead us to the true self within. It is about self-realization, and for this the guidance of a guru is a must. That is why Swadhyaya is also called Moksha Shastranam Adhyayanam, the study of yoga, Vedanta and other such shastras that lead to the direct revelation of the true self. Swadhyayat yogamasita yogat swadhyayamavaset Swadhyaya Yoga Sampatya Paramatma Prakashate. Through Swadhyaya, do the Upasana, worship of yoga, the communion with the divine, and through yoga, practice what was reflected in Swadhyaya. Through the spiritual wealth of Swadhyaya, Paramatma is revealed. Through self-reflection, introspection, and observing where we stand and where we are headed, to know deep down how much of cultivation has happened, how much of weeding is pending, all these are the practical aspects of Swadhyaya. Now, Swadhyaya becomes the study of self, the journey of self-study to study of self. Within the same context, we should also know the relationship between tapas and swadhyaya. Tapas, which is purification, and swadhyaya, which is self-reflection, exist in mutual relationship. Tapas being the means whereby we purify and refine our systems, and Swadhyaya being the means of self-reflection through which we come to an increasingly deeper level of self-awareness and self-understanding. By cleansing the vessel of the body and mind through tapas, tapas makes us fit for Swadhyaya. By examining the vessel, Swadhyaya helps us to understand exactly where we should concentrate our practices of purification. And thus, in this relationship between purification and self-examination, we have a natural method of discovering who in essence we are. Yathashva rathahina syuhu rathascha ashvaihi yatha vina evam tapohya vidyasya vidyavapi atapasvinaha. Tapasya without the Vidya from Swadhyaya is like horses without chariot, and Vidya without Tapasya is like the chariot without the horses. यथा अन्नं मधुसंयुक्तं मधुचान्नेन मिश्रितम् एवं तपश्च विद्या च संयुक्तं भेषजं मतम्. Just as anna and honey together become aushadhi, medicine, tapas and vidya together remove the doshas, cleanse and purify us, and bring out the divine meaning of our existence. Thus, along with several dharmacharanas we have understood in the past many weeks, let us also welcome Swadhyaya into our mind space and hearts. And before concluding this session, let me read out a few verses from the Vishnu Smriti. Mrittoyai shodhyate shodhyam nadi vegena shuddhyati. Human body is cleansed by water. The river is cleansed by its flow. Manas satyena shuddhyati. The mind is cleansed by truth. Vidya tapobhyam bhutatma. The inner being is reflected clearly through self-study and tapasya, in meditation and introspection, while understanding is cleansed by knowledge. Buddhir jnanena shuddhyati. And finally, before closing this session on Swadhyaya, let me add the words of Patanjali which says, Swadhyaya Ishtadevata Samprayogaha. Study thyself and discover the divine. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.